If you somehow had any doubts that democracy works and that the people can benefit from it, the postponement of this year's budget speech should settle that debate once and for all. If the government proposed a 2 percentage point VAT increase 2 years ago when the ANC was governing on its own, Minister Godongwana would be sipping on his favorite drink somewhere in Cape Town right now, unperturbed by the noise. Yes, John Steenhuisen and Julius Malema and Mmusi Maimane and the likes would be on loudhailers condemning the insensitivity of the action and so on and on and on. But because the people decided to remove that mandate from the ANC and forced it to work with others, for the first time in the era of democracy, a budget proposal could not be presented. And it was not from a lack of trying on the ANC's part. Despite other parties in the Government of National Unity making it clear that this proposal was unacceptable, Minister Godongwana arrived in Cape Town hoping that he could still miraculously push it through. Hello everyone, welcome back to Joe Talks Politics. I am your host Joseph Musia. Let's get right into it. I hope no one expects me to talk about the deep economics of increasing VAT. My expertise in that regard is rather limited. But I do know that it was definitely going to erode our purchasing power, also known as making things more expensive. Making things more expensive in this economic climate is a political minefield only the brave, the desperate or the stupid would dare to traverse. Yes, Godongwana is a brave fellow. Agreeing to take on the portfolio of Minister of Finance when the economy has been performing poorly for decades is indeed a brave act. But he's also a desperate man. The government has a long list of priorities that need funding. They need funding yesterday. Ask any minister, and they will tell you how the budget cuts are hampering their work. For years, we have relied on the goodwill of countries like the USA to fund important programs like the fight against HIV and AIDS. Now that that country is experiencing its own problems, Godongwana has to find ways to keep those programs going. We can't afford to be without them. Our defense force lost 14 soldiers recently in the DRC. Experts tell us that they are sitting ducks against a well-equipped rebel army as they lack crucial equipment like air support. Whether other parties eventually agree to a VAT increase, the government borrows even more money, or they increase income tax, the money has to be found somewhere. Godongwana is among the government leaders who have been telling us about the triple challenges of poverty, unemployment and inequality. He and his ANC comrades know how difficult it is for ordinary South Africans to make ends meet. But more importantly, they knew that an increase of that magnitude was not going to be acceptable to other parties. It is not like these parties, many of them in the governing coalition, had not made their views known.
For me, if I wear my hat as the leader of my party, very clear position from my party that we couldn't in good conscience support a 2% VAT increase given the current economic circumstances in South Africa, and that we need to look at more innovative ways that are more pro-growth to be able to get the economy moving, to create jobs and to end the poverty. Those are the key determinants of the medium-term development plan and objectives of them, and we need a budget that speaks to those key objectives. And I think it's a healthy sign that there are now different voices around the table, and that those voices must find each other now before a budget is tabled, and it's not just a my way or the highway situation, and that other parties' views and opinions need to be taken into consideration.
So having failed to secure a consensus, I wonder why he still prepared a speech and got hundreds of people to fly from other provinces only to be forced to withdraw at the last minute. If the issue was discussed for the past 2 weeks without success, how did they think a last-minute cabinet meeting would achieve a different outcome? I guess maybe they thought they could blackmail everyone into agreeing to the budget because not going ahead would be embarrassing. But surely, this flies in the face of the political realities in the country at the moment. There was no hope that the ANC could be rescued by the parties outside the GNU because even for them, that would be political suicide.
You cannot come here and say confidently that the parties in the executive are not agreeing. What is that? We don't have parties in the executive. We've got the executive. The executive must come here and present the budget, and this parliament must decide whether we adopt that budget or not. You are denying the people of South Africa to see what is happening in this government. There is no government. It has collapsed. It has no capacity to present a budget.
I started this episode by stating that the failure to pass the budget is proof that democracy works. After years of the ANC bulldozing its decisions through parliament and other forums, for the first time, the democratic processes have ensured that this will not happen. With the electorate having cut the ANC to size last year, it is now learning that government actions are subject to scrutiny. The delay in presenting the budget demonstrates that government officials, including the Minister of Finance, are held accountable by multiple stakeholders such as political parties, the public, and civil society. The debate and discussions around key issues like tax increases show that the decision-making processes should be open to scrutiny and debate, ensuring that decisions are not made in a vacuum. The failure to present the budget speech reflects the reality of democratic governance where multiple parties, each with its own policy priorities and concerns, must reach a consensus on crucial national issues. The rejection of the VAT increase by parties as diverse as the DA and the South African Communist Party is an example of how political negotiations and compromises are now part of the democratic process.
What I have seen the past 2 weeks, I want to tell the people of South Africa that I have seen humbleness, humility, and people that listen to each other. I want to congratulate the Minister of Finance. You came to present a budget which the DA, the PA, and the different parties didn't fully agree with. But the ANC were humble enough and say, let us hear you. What is it you don't like here? For 2 weeks we've been busy. We are seized with the last issue. A wise man changes his mind. We are united. This is not a one-party state. We are together, united, all of us that you see here. These ones, they will not know. They are a government in waiting. We are the government.
Another key feature of democracy is the active role of the public in shaping policies. In this case, the public's concerns about the economic burden of a VAT increase and their potential resistance to such measures have influenced the various political party approaches. In essence, this incident illustrates that South Africa's democratic system is functioning as intended, through open debate, negotiations, and commitment to ensuring that policies align with the needs and concerns of its citizens. So the next time you are tempted to think that voting is a waste of your time, remember February 19, 2025, when the once mighty ANC had to eat humble pie in the most humiliating manner. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to like, share, and give your comments. And if you are not yet a subscriber, please consider doing so. See you in the next one.